Here's Voice of Indonesia with the news. The Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology supports the development of bilateral relations between Indonesia and the Islamic Republic of Iran in the fields of higher education. Science and Technology, Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Brian Yuliarto, met with Iranian ambassador to Indonesia, Muhammad Burujerdi, at the minister's office in Jakarta on Monday. And the next news. The government is relying on the Indonesian Investment Management Agency to elevate national investment and economic performance, where he delivered the remarks at Fitch Ratings annual Indonesia conference in Jakarta on Wednesday, post-information of its organized structure. Danantara is a compiling list of strategic projects as a start, he informed. And that was the news.
Voice of Indonesia, the overseas service of Radio Republic Indonesia, broadcasts in 9 language services: English, French, German, Dutch, Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, and Indonesian. Voice of Indonesia is broadcast via shortwave 3325 kHz and 4755 kHz, and via streaming on voinews.id and RRI Digital on mobile application. We present various programs for you: Diplomatic Forum, The Session, Indonesian Wonder, Miscellany, Let's Speak Bahasa Indonesia, Indonesian pop and regional songs, international musical entertainment, as well as news and information about Indonesia and abroad. Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, and good night, VOI listener. Welcome back to Indonesia Today with your host, Ray, where I'll be accompanying you for the next 1 hour, providing you with news, information, and also entertainment from Indonesia to the world. And VOI listener, this beautiful day of Thursday, I almost said Tuesday there, we are here to be with you in Voice of Indonesia, Indonesia Today, RRI. And without any further ado, you can tune into our online streaming, voinews.id, shortwave 3325 kHz and 4755 kHz, and our application in RRI Digital for those of you who love watching on demand. And so, VOI listener, without any further ado, of course, I would love to say some 8 words just for you, and that is I Love You by Agatha Chelsea with 8 huruf.
kata-kata. Truth is, you've won my heart.
RRI Digital with new look.
Programa en español.
Playground persaingan Voice of Indonesia.
RRI Digital. Available on Google Store and App Store. RRI Digital.
VOI listener, right now it is the changing of the season. As usual, we are approaching the middle of the year, where usually we come from the rainy season into the dry season, and of course we'll be back to the rainy season in the end of this year. And right now, with today's theme in VOI Talk in Voice of Indonesia is extreme weather and health. We would like to know on how should we do and keep our health up, of course with a special guest. That is Dr. Aghnaa Gayatri, family medicine specialist and subspecialist in family-oriented medical care, and also a lecturer at Universitas Gadjah Mada. How are you, Dr. Aghnaa?
How are you? Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Okay, so doctor, I would like to ask you something. Currently in this changing of the weather, of course, changing of the season as well, the weather has become quite extreme, or we can say pancaroba in Indonesia. And what should we do to keep our health up usually during that season?
Yeah, well, the extreme weather condition that's happening in a tropical climate such as Indonesia, the extreme would be heat-related, and then those related to, say, rainy season and floods. So in regards to heat-related illnesses, when things will get a little bit too hot sometimes, we need to take extra precaution on, heat exhaustions and heat strokes, especially for those working outside, being in the sun. And then we have to also think about dehydration, just making sure that we're hydrated enough, drink plenty of fluids, water, because sometimes, we work too hard that we forgot that we need to drink water and have our fluids replenished. And then, of course, we'd have to think about those with pre-existing conditions, those with already cardiovascular diseases and respiratory diseases, those in the dry season when it's particularly hot and particularly dry. We also need to think about all dust that surround us that might create allergies, and it will precipitate or cause such asthma exacerbations and allergies related to respiratory disease that can also occur. And then on the other side, we also have the extreme weather of when it is heavy raining, and then might be floods. We'd have to think about infectious diseases as well in those times, where vector-borne diseases like from mosquitoes, like dengue, malaria, and chikungunya. Well, malaria is in endemic places, but more generally is dengue, chikungunya, where those are diseases that can develop from mosquitoes, and they'll will then get, if we are not fit enough, then we get dengue and chikungunya. And also waterborne diseases when, during floods, there's lots of regions that gets floods during the rainy season. We need to be aware of leptospirosis, which is from rats, from floods. And then because there are usually lots of like running water and water that's around in dirty roads, sidewalks, and things like that that we need to think about. Yeah, that's the general idea of the extreme weather conditions and its impact on our health in general.
I see. So you've mentioned people with allergies. So I have a friend that have allergies, especially in the changing of the weather. So what is the best move for people with allergies, especially in facing this current extreme weather changes?
Yeah. So this is interesting because sometimes the response to allergy is different from one person to another. And not only that, but like it depends also as well on how fit a person is. So sometimes when you're fit enough, you might not get such as a bad reaction. But then if you're in a condition that's not so well, you're not so fit, you'll get more like a more prominent reaction. So usually during the dry season, so usually during the rainy season, it's pretty humid. It's not too dry. Sometimes that's a good condition for those with allergies because their how do you say it? Their airway is humid. So they're not really prone to irritation. But then when it's in the dry season, when it's pretty dry, then the airway it's easily irritated. So then they can exacerbate symptoms of allergic reactions. So especially those who use motorcycle everywhere, I always say to them that make sure you wear a mask. And then there's a physical barrier between, outside dust and pollution to your airway. That's the thing. And also then to keep fit, make sure that in being fit, it sort of reduces the chances of having a bad reaction to an allergy. Yeah.
Okay, so in being fit, so what intake should be considered to increase the body's endurance, especially for people who doesn't usually work out too much, especially just regular people who just go work, go home?
Well, yeah, it's good that you mentioned that. Any form of physical activity is good, even if if we don't go to the gym or we don't exercise regularly. I still always tell people to just be active in any chance that you can. Like say parking, if you don't park so close to the venue, so you get to walk a little bit and then take the stairs instead of taking the elevator if you can. And just try walking, especially those who work, in front of a computer, on a desk that, just take 10, 15-minute breaks every 1 hour or two, and then just walk around the office or, stretch your legs and stretch your arms. Any little physical activity is better than none. So I say, try to do that still. So, but then you could always aside from physical activity, there's always, things that we can consume, food intakes. So, immune boosting foods such as vitamin C rich fruits. We have plenty of oranges or mandarins. We have a lot of guavas right here papaya, pineapple, so they're quite rich in vitamin C. I mean, it doesn't always have to be like berries. If you look at international literature, they're always saying, eat some berries. It's not readily available here. So yeah, oranges, guavas, papaya, pineapple. So they're fruits that are rich in vitamin C. And also consume a lot of vegetables, like dark leafy greens. We have kangkung, water spinach, a lot of things, cabbages. So they're great as well for immune boosters. And then, of course, protein sources, eggs, beans, tofu, tempeh. They're also good, rich in protein. So lean meats. And then another thing that is something forgot is zinc-rich foods. So zinc aids in immune function and wound healing. So these are available in beans like soybeans, but also green beans. And then seeds, peanuts, different kinds of nuts, and then also seafood. We're a country that has an abundance of seafood, so we have to make the most of it and consume it ourselves, not just sell it for a living, but also consume seafood. That's a good source of zinc. But also not just the types of food that we eat, but also cook it in a way that is nice, that is good to eat, to consume. Because sometimes when people see like immune boosting foods or healthy foods, it seems to almost always like only boiled and then just eat it just boiled without any seasoning. It's fine to use seasoning and cook it properly to our liking, and eating it makes eating more fun. And we'll consume more of these immune boosting foods rather than just a little bit because it doesn't taste as nice because we're not preparing it nicely. Yeah.
I see. So I will keep that in mind, especially if you are working in the desk like me, for a listener who just sit around and just talk around in the studio. And of course, eat good food as well. And also, I would like to ask, in some cases, for example, if someone already got maybe their allergies or got the disease, especially in this changing of the weather condition, what is the best way to anticipate and handle it after it is already happening or before it is happening?
So, the first thing would be prevention. As I said, so from allergies and those with pre-existing conditions like chronic diseases, take your, for those with asthma, depending on the severity of your asthma, you'd have either a routine medication that you need to take in the form of inhalers. So make sure to take that routinely according to your doctor's advice. So some people with mild to moderate asthma, sometimes they just need to take it when they feel a bit stuffy or they feel a bit hard to breathe, so they take which is a reliever, as we say. But then there are other asthma conditions where you need to take the inhaled medication like twice daily. So do that. So take your medication as prescribed. So that's the best advice for any type of condition. So any medications that you get from your doctor, please take them as advice. And then to avoid conditions in extreme weather, such as, in heats, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. And those, say, with cardiovascular diseases or diabetes, when, during times when it's very hot, sometimes they forget to drink lots of water, so they'll be dehydrated, more prone to dehydration than the individuals without pre-existing conditions. So make sure we drink plenty of fluids. And then Uh, continue blood sugar monitoring as well for diabetes. Just make sure you take your medications and make sure that you won't go into a state of, as I said, dehydration or eat enough, and so you won't get hypoglycemia. And then fluid is an important thing that sometimes we forget. A lot of patients of mine sometimes forget that we need to drink water. Even if we drink tea or coffee or other types of beverages, it does not replace water. So even if we drink tea, 2 glasses of tea, we still need to drink that 8 glasses of water. It doesn't mean that we then only to take 6 glasses of water. So tea or coffee or any other beverages does not count into the recommended amounts of 8 glasses of water per day. So still the 8 glasses of water per day.
Okay, so make sure to drink water, VOI listener, and don't forget to drink water. And so for the final question for today's topic is there any tips of dealing with the weather changes and the effects of global climate change in the long run?
Well, in the long term, it's not just physical conditions that we need to look after, as like we've been discussing beforehand about allergies, asthma, heat strokes, and things that are related to floods. But then also we need to talk about the mental health impact of climate change, because all the conditions of climate change, and the extreme weather conditions, sometimes they don't directly impact our health, but the ripple effects of climate change will impact our health. And so that leads to mental health aspects. Like, of course, climate change has an impact on, food supply, the growth and, crops. And then this will then in turn affect our economy, and then our economy will then lead to our health in a way, on our mental health, suppose, our stability, so that's, it creates anxiety, distress within people, and the anxiety and distress, we can't take this lightly because it affects our physical self as well. Of course, we've mentioned a lot about how anxiety or distress would, we'd have what we usually common is dyspepsia or mah. We call it, like lots of people have that. So that's like first signs of, anxiety or distress that can lead to other physical problems. So in relation to climate change, we all sectors needs to be involved in, bearing this, getting ready for this, because in the end it will impact our health. I think, don't forget about our mental health and the effect of that towards our whole physical well-being.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Aghnaa Gayatri, for your insights and also your solutions and tips and tricks on how to deal with the extreme weather.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, VOI listeners, so in conclusion, our health is deeply connected to the environment around us, and as extreme weather continues to affect our daily life, it is important than ever to strengthen our health care system and raise public awareness, and also take proactive steps to protect our well-being by also working together, and of course with guarding yourself and keep your metabolism high up so that you don't get sick easily. And thank you so much, VOI listener, for accompanying me in this special episode of VOI Talk on Voice of Indonesia with the theme Extreme Weather and Health with Dr. Aghnaa Gayatri, only on Voice of Indonesia. And if you want to stay tuned and continue finding amazing interviews like now, you can check out our YouTube account and VOI Official, and I'll see you in another episode in Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Voice of Indonesia. VOI.
Safety isn't just a guideline, it's a promise we uphold to one another. As you traverse our